big breaking news because another big pitcher is off the market. It is Justin Verlander heading to the Big Apple, going to the New York Mets, a 2-year deal worth $86 million with a vesting option for the third year. It's pretty much the same AAV as Max Scherzer is getting from the Mets. Those two will be teamed up again. And there's a lot of interesting things going on with this deal. So let's get straight into it. You're watching Bleacher Brawls. My name is Derek, and let's get straight into it. First things first, we'll start with this. This deal not being with the Astros doesn't surprise me one bit because Jim Crane, who is the Astros owner, he was one of the people that made fun of the Mets for signing Scherzer to that short-term deal, big AAV. And whatever he said, like I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like he pretty much made fun of it. It was too much AAV, too much money to spend on one player, whatever. Well, he just lost his best pitcher because he wasn't willing to pay that high AAV over a short term, and it's not surprising. I gotta say, it's not surprising at all that the Astros just lost Justin Verlander because of how Jim Crane reacted to the Scherzer signing last year with the Mets. And Steve Cohen will spend money. He had to replace Jacob DeGrom. All the signs are pointing to Justin Verlander becoming a New York Met. The Mets have their replacement for Justin Verlander. I mean, no, they have their replacement for Jacob DeGrom in Justin Verlander. And for the Mets, Verlander can stay healthy. It's an upgrade because DeGrom hasn't been able to stay healthy for the last couple of years. And that's huge. That's huge for the Mets because they could still be losing Chris Bassett. So it's very interesting to see where things could land for this Mets team. When you look at, Justin Verlander, obviously he was stellar last year. I mean, unanimous Cy Young, a 1.75 ERA, a 2.49 FIP. 175 innings pitched that was. He had a 28% K rate, just a 4% walk rate. He was stellar. Just stellar. And I mean, like a unanimous Cy Young, that just kind of tells you where just Verlander was at, especially coming off of Tommy John surgery, which is crazy. He got a World Series ring, got a win in the World Series, the first of his career. Um, it's one of these moves where, though, for the Mets, you got to be a little bit careful because we know Scherzer started to slow down, have some arm fatigue near the end of last year. He started to slow down a little bit. So when it comes to Justin Verlander, you're going to want to keep him and Scherzer healthy and whoever that third guy is going to be because it's not just Chris Bassett. They're losing also Taijuan Walker is currently a free agent as well. So they could potentially lose him as well. So they have spots in that rotation that they have to fill, but kind of setting that top of the rotation with Verlander, with Scherzer, and reuniting them because they were teammates in Detroit. That's something. And we talked about it a little bit on the YouTube video that did go up today, just recently on the Bleacher Brawls channel, making winter meeting predictions, where Luke and I discussed and said, hey, like we were scared. Like Luke said, I was scared of that duo back in 2013 with the Tigers when the Red Sox had to play them in the postseason. It's going to be 10 years later. Can they hold up realistically? Because they're not young anymore. Verlander's heading into his age 40 season. I mean, eventually you have to think eventually that you got to think eventually that body's going to deteriorate. And Scherzer's 38. He'll be 39 in July of next year. So it's definitely. I mean, DeGrom was already going to be 35 next year, so next year was going to be his age 35 season. So they did get a little bit older. It's not like a lot older, but you got to think eventually that body's going to start slowing down a little bit. Eventually, will it happen? Before they retire, who knows? But it is interesting. But for the New York Mets, though, they're getting a bona fide ace, and we already know that it's Justin Verlander. That doesn't need to be explained. But what I really wonder is now, where do the Mets spend other money, and how much money are they going to spend elsewhere for other players? They still need at least one more starter, in my opinion. Just just because you're losing, or you're still losing Bassett and Taiwan Walker, and those are free agents. They're not back on the team yet. You still have to bring them back. Um, I mean, maybe a trade could potentially happen, or the Mets have some solid prospects. That could be interesting, but I just don't really know where the Mets go from here, because it felt like in the last couple of days was everything trending towards Verlander, and that was it. It was Verlander, 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 and now we don't really know where they're going. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like, obviously, the Mets have a plan. It's just, what is that plan? Right now, their current starters are Max Scherzer, Carlos Carrasco, David Peterson, and Tyler McGill. Like, it's not, and now also Justin Verlander. It's not bad, but you could do a little bit better than that for sure. I mean, Carrasco, what was their number 5 last year? And he might be as of right now, he's probably the number 3 there. It kind of tells you what you need to know, right? They still have some bullpen pieces to get to fill up. Their bullpen right now is pretty much Edwin Diaz and guys that they have the empty spots that they have to fill, pretty much. Obviously, on the position player side of things, they have a lot of guys kind of set in place. But Brandon Nimmo's a free agent, so that's a spot that they don't have filled. So it is interesting to see kind of where the Mets end up. For the Astros, I do want to talk about the Astros though. I don't think this affects them that much because they were running a 6-man rotation last year. You know, I don't see it like really changing much. I'm not gonna lie. I probably just want a 5-man rotation. I'll probably be like Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, Luis Garcia, Urquidy, and Lance McCullers. That's who I'm forgetting, and Lance McCullers. So they'll probably go in like Framber Valdez, Lance McCullers, Christian Javier, Luis Garcia, and Jose Urquidy, and those are the 5 starters. Um, I don't know. I mean, unless the Astros go out and try and get like a Rodon, I don't see them really replacing Verlander. They'll just kind of stick with what they have, and then maybe, or they could try and make a trade. But like the only guy I think they could get in a trade maybe might be Pablo Lopez, and I don't know if they even have enough to get him in a trade. So I think kind of the Astros are just gonna end up kind of staying pat. Maybe they bring in a second tier guy to start, but I think they're just gonna roll with the 5 that they already have potentially. Um, because I think you're probably gonna see Christian Javier take a step, maybe even Framber Valdez take a step. You could maybe see Lance McCullers kind of take a step. Like the thing is with Sasha's rotations, I think they'll be fine. They just won't have that ace, which this rotation potentially could be a long step away from the team they had when they had Verlander and Cole and Greinke. When Greinke was still solid, Verlander and Cole were battling for Cy Youngs. It's going to be a long step from that, but it doesn't mean it can't be a bad rotation. And the AL West is going to be rotation central. It feels like every team there besides Oakland's going to have a good rotation. So you're going to have to figure it out and be able to pitch and be able to have good starting pitching, because the Mariners have a good rotation. The Angels are trying to build a solid rotation. And the Rangers just got Jacob deGrom, and they're probably going to add another rotation piece before the end of the offseason. So that's kind of where you are. You gotta figure it out. Um, you gotta figure out that rotation. Hopefully, you can get it set for the Astros. But back to the Mets side of things, to wrap this thing up. It's a good deal for the Mets, short term. Yes, high AAV, but are you gonna really complain? You just got Justin Verlander. Like, can you really complain if you're a Mets fan? I mean, I don't think so. The guy just won to sign on unanimously. I think that tells you all you need to know about Justin Verlander. Yeah, I think that's a great place to wrap it up. Make sure to check out all the links in the description of the Bleacher Brawls podcast, Instagram, Twitter, and website, plus all the Twitter links, all the crew's Twitters, they're all down there. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified when we post. Comment your thoughts on the signing on Justin Verlander going to the Mets. We'd like to know your thoughts. We'll try and respond to as many as possible. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Brawls. My name is Derek, and I'll see you next time.